I love to teach the message of purpose and destiny, and it's a very, very important one. I love to tell my story when I'm teaching it. I was a medical doctor for about 20 years, and then I started writing Christian fiction, and I never wanted to be a medical doctor, never wanted to be one, didn't enjoy it, kept switching jobs because I was so miserable at doing it. All my life growing up, I loved the arts. I loved music, singing, dancing, writing. I loved ministry. I loved church. I'm a straight up church girl. Loved church, loved everything about it. And in my 20s, I started getting all these prophetic words. I was in medical school. Not one of the prophetic words had anything to do with being a doctor. It was all about ministry. It was about going to Africa and ministering to young people in Africa. It was about taking the nations. It was about being a woman of faith that inspired faith in other people. And so I had all these prophetic words about who I was called to be. And then I had the life that I was living, and they looked nothing alike. And the more I worked as a doctor, the more miserable I became, and the more unfulfilled I was, and the more prophetic words I got. It got to the point where I was like, God, stop talking to me. I don't want to hear it anymore. Unless you're going to do all this stuff that you're promising me, I don't want to hear it anymore. I was in ministry school at Bethel, Atlanta School of Supernatural Ministry, kept getting all these prophetic words. I was writing fiction because that made me happy and it was catharsis. And I finally said, what am I going to do? I can't live like this anymore. And so I got on a plane. I went to Jamaica. I sat on the beach and I talked to God all week. And I remember that conversation where I said to him, God, you promised me this and this and this. And I recalled back to him all the prophetic words he had ever spoken over me. And I said, when are you going to make good on your promises? And he said back to me, clear as day, when are you going to do what I told you? I was like, you're waiting on me? And he says, yeah, I'm waiting on you. So I was like, okay, what do I do? He said, quit your job. I was like, quit my job? Wait a minute now. I got a car payment. I got a mortgage. I got all this stuff going on. He goes, quit your job. That's all he said. Okay, all right, I'll quit my job. What do I do next? When you quit your job, I'll tell you. Yeah, God, I ain't feeling that. That whole Abraham, go to the country, and then when you get there, I'll tell you what to do. I wasn't feeling that. But he didn't say anything else. That was all he said. And so I came back from Jamaica. I didn't quit my job. I just pretended like, ooh, you were tripping on the beach and let's get back to normal life. And then my birthday came around. I sat in my prayer room 2 months back at work. I was miserable again. And I said, God, I can't live like this. When do I get to do all the things that you've told me I'm going to do? And he said, I told you to quit your job. And I was like, oof, that was you. Okay. So I went in and I quit my job the very next day and didn't know what I was going to do. The last day at work, a month later, I got an email from a young lady in Cameroon telling me that she had read my book, Dance into Destiny, and that my characters reminded her of her and the kids in her youth group. And so all of a sudden, I started waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, praying, crying out for revival in this nation of Cameroon. And I mentioned it to her and she was like, yeah, me and my youth group are praying for you to come over. So I got on a plane and I went to Cameroon, fell in love with the people, the food, the music, the dance, the culture, everything about it, and really started praying, God, what am I supposed to do? I finished the first year of Bethel School. I finished the second year. I went back again. I went the first time in July, went back again in November because I couldn't get enough of it. And finally started praying and saying, God, am I supposed to start a school over there? And he was like, yep. And it was just, it was a scary leap. And I remember saying to him, okay, I'm going to jump, but you got to catch me. I'm going to quit a 6-figure job to live on donations as a missionary. That was scary. It was very, very scary. But I took that flying leap of faith and I jumped into my destiny and I haven't looked back since. And we are now in our 6th year of Bethel, Atlanta, Cameroon School of Supernatural Ministry. And I, in spite of difficulties, hardships, things that happen, I am happier now than I could have ever imagined being. You gotta live your dreams. You can't just live every day in a life that you don't love. You can't live not doing what you were born to do. And even if you have to take a leap of faith, even if you have to give up a great job and a great career, you gotta know that you were born for something important. And when God makes it very clear what you're supposed to do, you gotta take that running, flying leap of faith. And I promise you, He's going to catch you. And you're going to have the most amazing, exciting, adventurous, fulfilling, rewarding life. So I'm challenging you to dance into your destiny.